Welcome back to KANG News. I'm Kyanna.
And I'm Drew. We begin with a serious topic that's affecting students everywhere, including here at LDub.
The Feminist Club have been working with admin to address how reports of sexual harassment and sexual assault among students are received and investigated.
Several members, along with LDub social worker Miss Bess, sat down with Lizzie from KANG TV.
Hey Kangs, I'm here with Mariana and Scout from LDub's Feminist Club, along with Miss Bess, our school social worker, and we're here to talk today about the sexual assault issue in our community, as well as the protest happening this Friday. So what is our current culture around sexual assault at LDub?
So yeah, the current culture and why we're kind of doing this is just that the reporting system that we have in place at LDub just isn't cutting it. It just doesn't work, and because of that, it really deters people from even reporting in the first place. There seems to be some disconnect between administration and the students, and the information that they think is getting out to them, to the students, just isn't. It isn't reaching us, and it's just like the education around consent as well, and around things like date rape drugs just isn't cutting it either, and it needs to be more substantial, and there needs to be more of it, and there needs to be more conversation around it to end this kind of like culture here, to make it so that it's like not okay, it's not cool, it's not like a pat on the back for, sexually harassing someone.
Yeah, and it's definitely a difficult conversation between students as well, and something that is just tied to our entire culture of student-student relationships, student-admin relationships.
Absolutely.
And I know you guys are from Feminist Club, and we all here are cisgendered females, but this is something that affects not just females, not just males, but, transgender, gender neutral, gender fluid, all genders and all sexualities. And I think people kind of take the point of view of like, this is a female issue, but it's everyone's issue, and it kind of affects everyone. I know Miss Bess has some statistics here with us.
Yeah, so it is a really prevalent issue. A study has found that 18% of girls and then 3% of boys have reported being sexually assaulted by a peer by the time they turn 17. And then that number is even higher among LGBTQ youth, like you said, especially transgender youth have more risk of being sexually assaulted, unfortunately. Yeah.
And how does sexual assault affect victims emotionally?
It's a lot. Victims can suffer from PTSD, so that's post-traumatic stress disorder, having like flashbacks and being re-traumatized by their experience. They can suffer from depression, anxiety. There's higher instances of drug abuse, and just overall feelings of shame and guilt and what did I do wrong, and unfortunately that like really is around the topic, and like reminding survivors that they did nothing wrong and they're not at fault and they should not feel ashamed. And so
I know a consistent thought that was brought up in Feminist Club with students is that it really feels like it isn't taken seriously, and that it's put on the back burner a lot of the times, and that students aren't part of the conversation when they do bring it up. So they don't know where their stories are going, or what is being investigated, or what is not being investigated. Because a lot of times students don't want to bring it to law enforcement. So then where does the school play in? What can the school offer if a student doesn't want to bring it to law enforcement?
And that's a big reason why we're doing this protest, is we want to show that we are taking this issue seriously as students, and that we're putting it not on the back burner like some administration has.
Yeah, so I guess that is some of Feminist Club's objectives, is to try and eliminate that culture, that shame, that guilt, that idea of, oh, what were you wearing, or these questions, this atmosphere that makes it so hard to report.
Yeah, but also creating a culture of communication between administration and students, because it's not just all about the culture within the student body. It's also what Scout mentioned. We want the students to have a customized experience when they report issues of sexual assault. So if they want to hear back from administration and know what's going on, if they want to know that they have actually been taken seriously and that they are being investigated, that currently isn't being done, and that should be. So that communication is very important. Not only that, but also putting resources on the school website and making them accessible and communicative. Having a tab on the school website that has sexual assault resources, which lists how you can report and that there is such thing as a sexual assault counselor, which all districts are required to have. And I don't think anyone really knew that that was a thing.
No, we didn't. We did a lot of research in Feminist Club, and just looking for the information of like what to do if you've been sexually assaulted. It just took our researchers down this rabbit hole of going to the district website, going down and looking at Title IXs, and like you shouldn't have to do that. If you've been sexually assaulted, the information should be easy to find. It should be right there. It should give you options of what you need to do. And it should also give you the option if you don't want to do anything.
Right. And also, like, a lot of these documents that are issued by the district and by the school aren't necessarily very supportive. And it's like no wonder a lot of these sexual assaults aren't reported, because you look at these documents and they're very, like, cut and dry.
Yeah.
And so we want to change that. We want to put some of the students' words and support into these documents as well, not only just making them more accessible.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And I think with talking about these issues with the communication as well as just like what sort of support you guys have received from administration, because I know we're trying to address the issues between like our student to admin communication and how like this has really affected sexual assault in our community. But for this protest, I know that you guys have talked to admin and have had some communication with them. So I was wondering, like, if you could talk about what they have done to support your guys' movement.
Yeah, they have been extremely supportive, actually. And it is the protest and this movement is school and district supported. Me and Mariana have had many conferences with Ms. Supergreen and Mr. Koima talking about these issues and also talking about our objectives and how we can get those implemented at our school. And not, so like after the protest, we're not just gonna let it fizzle. We're gonna continue to work with them. And yeah, that constant communication is really, it makes you feel really good. It feels like something's actually going to change. They've been super supportive.
We should also mention that just not to deter a lot of students so that they know that there is going to be, I think, one district administrator that's going to attend the protest and hold signs because they truly believe in this issue, similar to a lot of other administrators. So if you see administrators there, they're not there to kind of like
monitor,
hunt you down or monitor you. They're there to be, and
they're supporting it.
Yes. And so I think one of the really great things about our communication with administration is that we've been able to communicate our motivations, which has been just the amount of cases that that have been told to us and that we've seen online as well. I think online was this Instagram account that posted anonymous sexual assault cases. That was a big motivator for us to start this.
Yeah, and I think it's really, like, to highlight, no one wants this to be happening. And so all of this is just about communication with administration. Because like I said, that's the problem. There's just a disconnect between students and administration and what is working and what is not working.
Yeah, and also supporting victims as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that was the system and the process of getting something reported, as well as, you know, the after effects of like not knowing if anything's happened.
Right.
These are all really discouraging factors
Of course.
You know, this is why people aren't reporting. But I also wanted to kind of cover our last week's One Love presentation, and it really focused on consent. And Ms. Bess, I was wondering if you'd like to go over kind of some of those key points about that constitute consent and kind of why we had that presentation.
Yeah, so consent happens between two people that are in a relationship, and it happens every time a sexual activity is going to take place, right? And so if a student agrees or a person agrees to doing one thing one time and then actually is like, never mind, I don't want to do that again, you have the full right to say, no, actually, I don't want to do that again, or no, I thought I might be comfortable with this, but actually I'm not. And so when you're looking for consent, it's not the absence of a no, it's looking for a freely given, enthusiastic yes, right? And so talking about boundaries before you even get to that place and discussing between the partners, like, this is what I'm comfortable with and this is what I'm not comfortable with, and then not having that pressure and that coercion of like, oh, but you like were flirting with me all night, or you've been sending me these messages, or whatever it is. It has to be freely given in that moment every time. And so like having that open communication and like respecting the other person, and then respecting when they say no, and not like blasting them online.
Yeah.
Or calling them a tease or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So, bottom line, it's every time, and it's respecting what the answer is, and having that open communication.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I guess we hope to see everyone there
Yes.
this Friday, December 10th. And I was wondering if you guys would like to talk a little bit about behavior and kind of what to expect at this protest and kind of what your expectations are and what your goals are and how people should attend and
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's going to be at 7:30 a.m. We're going to congregate in front of the main doors of the school, and it's going to be completely safe. There are going to be posters made for protesters, but we also heavily encourage people to create their own posters. And there are going to be people monitoring and making sure that everything's safe and everything goes well. So that's not necessarily an issue. Yeah,
Yeah.
Scout, is there anything else?
I was just gonna say, if you're going to join the protest, obviously, we don't want rules for the protest, but school
Yeah.
rules still apply. No profanity. Do not bring anything that could be considered a
Masks.
weapon or anything like that. We want this to be a peaceful protest, and we don't want it to be corrupted by something that could
Right.
just ruin our message.
Right.
Because we're not trying to create chaos or a riot. We just want to protest, and we want to voice our concerns to the school and to the student body.
And the safer and cleaner that we pull off this protest, the more the district and school administration is going to take us seriously.
Exactly.
So that's why we're so serious about making this
Yeah.
a safe experience.
Can I say one more thing?
yeah, of course.
For
yes.
any victims of sexual assault that might feel like I am going to be triggered or reminded if I walk through this protest, I would encourage students, if you are in that place, that it's okay to walk around the side or
Yeah, there's going to
to-
be the north building is going to be open. Thank you
Yes.
for mentioning
Yeah,
that.
great.
So
Okay, I'm glad
people
to know.
who have anxiety also walking through large crowds, that they can always go into the north building and walk through the school there.
Yep.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes. So thank you all so much for being
Thank
here,
you.
and we hope to see you this Friday, in the morning, 7:30 before
Yeah.
school, and to help support our cause. We are all trying to wear teal, which is the color that supports Sexual Awareness Month, and we look forward to seeing you there. We have resources on the screen for sexual assault crisis hotlines, and thank you so much for joining us. Back to you, Kyanna and Drew.
A student panel wants your input as it prepares for its first monthly meeting with LDUB's administrators to discuss current concerns affecting the student community. Here's more about their mission.
I'm here with leadership students today to discuss a new panel they're going to be having, and they're going to answer any questions we might have about it. So to start off, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Sabina.
I'm Nikita.
I'm Abdul.
Okay, thank you for being here today. So my first question for you all is, what is the student panel and what's it for?
Yeah. Well, the student panel is basically, we want every student's voices to be heard. We want them to feel like the school is listening to them. And while students have input in the school through things like ASB or leadership, such a wide majority of the school is not a part of that or not involved in that, and that's okay. But those people's voices aren't being represented. So we want a chance for people to, express their concerns to the administration and feel like their concerns are getting taken seriously. So, yeah.
Perfect. And so how would students come and address the problems that they're having with this panel?
Okay, so the students will be sent a Microsoft Forms every month, and it'll basically be asking questions about their opinions on the school and what they would like to change. And they'll get a chance to physically meet with the administration and share their problems so we can innovate them.
Perfect. And then what kinds of problems would be addressed by this Microsoft Form or panel or whatever format it'll take?
Honestly, it can be anything small or big, and we'll address it then, but if it's not achievable, then we can't implement it, but it can be anything, really.
Okay. And then how often will meetings for the student panel take place?
It's going to happen every Wednesday, once a month. It's most likely going to be the second Wednesday. And we're hoping, through this project, we can impact the school positively and help give voices to students.
Mm-hmm. And then so can students that are not part of the panel come attend the meetings?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. It's open for anybody who wants to come. It's that's the entire thing. We want anybody and everybody's voices to be heard. So it's for anybody who wants to come, anybody who wants to share what they think.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And then what's the guarantee that the changes will actually be made in the school?
We hope that this is a start towards change in our school, and there will be a separate Microsoft Forms survey that will be sent out every month, determining how the percentage of students which liked the idea and how many didn't, so we can use that input to make more change.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Use the QR code here or ask your homeroom teacher for the link to a form to share your comments, concerns, and questions. You may also attend a monthly meeting, but you'll need to sign up ahead of time.
Tomorrow is the deadline to donate to 2 holiday fundraisers for children and families in our community.
DECA is collecting toys to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital. Drop off new toys in one of the bins in the school lobby.
And Key Club's collecting food, personal hygiene, and cleaning products to help families in our area. There are also bins to drop off these donations in the lobby.
You have one more day to send a wintergram to your friends or that one special someone. Send a stuffed animal of your choice to bring joy and spread holiday cheer. Wintergrams are 1 for $5 and 2 for $7. You can buy them during both A lunch and B lunch through tomorrow.
Next week is our last full week before the winter break, which means it's also Spirit Week.
Here are the themes. Monday is PJ Day, Tuesday is Twin Day, Wednesday is Pink Out Day,
Thursday is Flannel Day, and Friday is, of course, Purple and White Day.
LDub's Theater's first production of the school year closes this weekend. Tickets for Almost Maine are still available, but seating is limited because of COVID, so get yours now.
The winter sports season is underway, and we have these reminders for student spectators. If you have an ASB sticker on your ID card, you get in free to home games, but you must bring your actual card to get in.
If you don't have an ASB sticker or lost your card, visit the bookkeeper to buy a sticker or replace your card. Admission is $7 without an ASB card or sticker.
Don't forget to mask up. Masks are required at all events.
Remember to cheer for LDub and not against the other team. Be loud, be proud, and most of all, be positive. Let's show how LDub is always rising.
And now, here's this week's KSPN report.
The boys varsity basketball team is on fire. They lost a tight game to Bellevue High School, but demolished Mercer Island, 63-22. Ben Nyquist scored 30 points in the first 3 quarters. He sat out for the 4th quarter. He also had 8 steals. Dylan Teese and Zach Pemble scored 9 points each. Zach also had 6 rebounds, while Brady Dean had 7 rebounds. Next up for the boys varsity team, they'll face Inglemoor High School Saturday, here at home. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. The boys JV and C teams lost to Bellevue and Mercer Island. JV takes on Inglemoor Saturday at 4:30 p.m., while the C team plays next Tuesday at 5:40 against Hazen High School. Now, to girls varsity basketball news. Huge congratulations to Elise Haney, who is LDub's all-time leader in block shots with 220, and the season is just getting started. The girls lost a close game up in Arlington, but demolished Mercer Island by a score of 71-32. The team combined for 20 assists and 14 steals. Rosa Smith scored 17 points and had 6 assists and 5 rebounds. Jolie Sims scored 6 points and had 10 rebounds and 3 steals. Paige Citron, Jamie Lowry, and Angie Helf scored 9 points each. The girls varsity team takes on Inglemoor Saturday night at 6, here at LDub. The girls JV team also beat Mercer Island last Friday. They face Inglemoor Saturday at 3 p.m. The girls' C team is scheduled still being finalized. Keep checking for gokangs.org for updates. The girls' gymnastics team has its first meet tonight at 7 at Liberty High School. They'll compete against Liberty and Juanita. The boys and girls wrestling teams are also off to a strong start. They lost to North Creek but beat Bothell last week. Over the weekend, they traveled to a Mariner tournament in Everett. Here are a few notable finishes. For varsity, Deron House finished first place. Kai Fernantani finished third, and Chase Martin finished fourth. For junior varsity, first place finishers were Kevin Harrijon, Ethan Davis, Anthony Zimmerardi, Talon Heaney, Zach Zaparada, and Mateo Irais. Second place finishers were Destiny House, James Davis, Conrad Schultz, and Xavier Smith. Their next meet takes place tonight at 6 at Mount Si High School, where they compete against Mount Si, Juanita, and Issaquah. The boys' SWIVE team is also off to a strong start with a huge win over Juanita. Frederick Larson won the 100 back with a state qualifying time and was only 0.5 seconds away from a school record in the event. Their next meet is this afternoon at 3 against North Creek High School at Juanita Pool. The LW dance team's first official competition of the season is this Saturday at Bellevue High School. Tickets go on sale at the door at 11 a.m. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. and the competition begins at noon. LW is later in the competition, performing 20th and 27th out of 28 performances. Go cheer on the reigning state champions in the military category. Congratulations to the following KANG's varsity football players for all KingCo honors. Punter, Hunter Green, made first team. Here's who made second team roster. Safety, Nathan Lee. Outside linebacker, Jabrilla Williams. Running back, Jamel Loins. Center, Brady Sheffer. Defensive lineman, Luis Vega. And these players received honorable mentions. Nikolai Norman, Nathan Owens, Donovan Acevedo, and Christian McGinnis. Congratulations to these awesome athletes. Finally, calling all future track athletes, the track and field coaches will host a meeting for all new and returning athletes interested in turning out for LW track and field. Coaches will present information about preseason training and conditioning and how to get signed up for track, and the schedule for the season. LW track has more students participating than any other KANG sport. Come join us on December 15th and find out why.
That's it for this week's KANG News. Thanks for watching. I'm Kyanna.
And I'm Drew. Have a great weekend and
Go KANGs!